welcome back to Elfo Deco. Today we are going to be creating some unique coasters with holographic mica powders and aqua resin. So when it comes to painting in molds, like for molds with etching designs, dusting pigments is a very popular technique with epoxy resin. And so today we're going to test how it works with aqua resin. And here is an example of what we made, and this is the holographic flakes, I believe, and here is the design created with aqua resin. This is just one of the 4 designs, so I'll show you what we are going to be making and how we make it. Let's get started. Here are the molds that we are going to use. They're all from LFO, and they have these little cute designs that are perfect for dusting some of these hollow dust pigments into. We have these hyper hollow flakes and hyper hollow dust, both from Solar Color Dust. I will link them in the description below. To begin, we're going to mix 1 part L liquid and 3.5 part S3 powder for our aqua resin. I am estimating about 80 grams of material for each coaster mode, so I'm mixing accordingly. The mix ratio is slightly more than what is instructed because more powder helps with reducing the surface bubbles. The instructed ratio is 1 part liquid to 3 part powder. This is specifically for aqua resin. If you are using another material, please check your instructions. I am adding an image to the bottom right corner of this video right now just to show you what the kit for aqua resin looks like. I will also link it in the description if you are looking to purchase. Now I have my 2 parts measured out, and I'm just mixing it a little bit by hand and then switching over to the electric mixer. Once we have the mixture done, we are going to dust the pigments onto the mold. I mix the aqua resin first so it starts to cure as we dust the pigments. That's so I can demold a little faster. Don't know if it was the best idea. I get about a 30-minute work time, so we better hurry. First, we are filling in the B with this honey color hyper hollow dust. I am using a paintbrush to dust the pigments onto the mold. If you like these molds and want to make your own coasters with them, I will link the molds in the description, and I do offer a coupon code for my subscribers, so subscribe to my channel if you haven't already and check the description after. For the Honeycomb Coaster mode, we are using the orange and honey color hyper hollow dust and just randomly filling in some of the hexagons. The third mold that we are dusting is the Arch Mountain one with this gold and yellow gold hyper hollow flakes. Lastly, we are using the bronze hyper hollow flakes for the simple circle mountain coaster. All the molds have been dusted. Now let's pour into the coasters. we are going to measure out the 80 grams of mixture into another cup for each coaster, as I mentioned before. We are pouring into the B coaster mold first, and we're doing a marble with the yellow oxide and bright red pigments from Jasmonite. Here I realized that I had totally underestimated how much material was needed for each coaster, so I'll come back and add more at the end with whatever materials I have left. Now we're going to pour into the Honeycomb Coaster, and I am going to do something similar. The marble design for the Honeycomb Coaster, a red and yellow marble. To make it kind of like a set thing, the yellow used here is the bright yellow pigment from Jasmonite. Although after being mixed in with the previous mixture in the cup, it sort of became an orange and red combo. For the other two coasters, I am using a different cup because I am using a different color combination. Starting with the arch, we are mixing a little bit of terracotta pigment with the off-white base of Aqua Resin. Lastly, for the Circle Mountain, we are dropping the terracotta pigment and the yellow oxide pigment and swirling it just a tad for a more obvious marble effect. Since I do have a little bit of not tinted Aqua Resin left, I will just pour it into the molds that could use a little more of the mix. To make the back look a little nicer, you can use a popsicle stick to make some swirls to mix in the white with the mixture that is already in the mold. It doesn't show from the front, and this not so pretty back could be hidden with a cork base. If you don't tell anybody, nobody will know. I had let these coasters cure for about 2 hours now, so let's demold them. It doesn't look too good at first with the dusting still stuck on the mold, but once we flip it, it's not too bad. This was probably because I used the flakes, and the flakes probably created the bumpy texture on the surface of the piece, and I don't really like it, but overall the piece is pretty cute. I love the marble design made with the Aqua Resin though. The mountain doesn't seem to have too much of the flakes stuck to the mold, and it definitely looks like there's a lot less texture on it. I probably didn't pick up too much of the flakes when I dusted this one, and the molds can be cleaned up, so don't worry about that. This marble is really lovely with this mountain design though. On to the hexagons. A clean mold seems to be a good sign. Okay, this is a little bit too much red, and it may have covered up the gold bee a bit. If I filled in the etchings, I think the bee would definitely stand out. Moving on to the last coaster, the Honeycomb. Apologies for the shaking. This coaster is literally fire. The colors are beautiful. The hollow dusting is not so obvious again, but I'll fill in the etchings and show you how that turns out. So for the etchings, I just used white acrylic paint for these coasters. You can check out my bird flower trays video to see how I paint in the etchings and add a wax sealer to complete the coasters. The etchings definitely adds a lot to the design. Since I didn't really get to capture the hollow effect from the hollow dust, I will try to show you them out in the sunlight. Focus on this moon, you can see that hollow effect a little bit. The light has to hit the coasters a certain way, but I love the contrast between the shiny hollow effect and the matte effect of the Aqua Resin. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found this little experiment interesting and helpful. If you did, please like and subscribe, and let me know down in the comments below what you want to see next. I'll see you next time.